When you modify your car, you're opening up the window or door or whatever kind of just like orifice to an insane and downright wild hobby. One weekend you could be in the mountains of Tennessee driving on roads that are unreal as that one friend goes over the mustard line on purpose because they think they're Max Verstappen. And the next weekend you're at a local HPDE trying to put up with like the 60-year-old construction company owner hitting on your wife. It is a perfect balance of chaos. And after that whole thing, you go home and you drive with your friends on the sim rig. You put down some laps at US Air. Maybe you go and grab your girlfriend or boyfriend and you go watch Ford versus Ferrari because it's the greatest racing movie ever made next to Rush. Being a car enthusiast in 2025 is the best and most awesome experience than ever before. It's like people that like anime nowadays. People love anime, but 20 years ago, you're a goddamn nerd. Being a car enthusiast in 2025 is awesome, but it also makes it the easiest ways to make some of the biggest mistakes you can. Welcome to Martini Works, though, where we help folks mod their car or SUV the right way. So no matter if you got a 350Z or an X3N, we're here to help you. And we've got new brands like Pirelli and Apex wheels on the site, which is super rad, and we'd love to help you out. That plug is why we're making this video. And without the drama of the YouTube title, it's true. You know, there are so many huge mistakes folks like yourself and myself might have or have already made when it comes to cars. And as somebody who's collectively built about 30 different boxes and helped a few thousand more build theirs, it starts to see like some patterns along the world, okay? So to start this whole thing off, let me share with you a story. Some terrible news, all right? My C4500 that I'm building with Becca on my personal channel has grown to a $25,000 bill and it's still not running. Why? Is it because I don't tip for pickup orders? Is it because I laughed when I watched a fat squirrel miss my bird feeder this weekend? Or is it because it's an LMM and transformers are unreliable? The real reason is because I just bought and bought and bought and bought and bought and bought as issues came up, and then bought some more. It was really fun to press the buy button, not so much fun to pay for it, okay? So much buying that you think I was rich, when in fact I was just getting mega credit card points. The worst part was that there was no real intention. I just figured out that if we needed it, I should buy it. And that sucks because financially, if you don't have the money to like enjoy this hobby, it's hard to modify much of anything. And you gotta remember, the tariffs are gonna make car parts 25% more expensive. Inventory is at an all-time low for authentic parts, and inventory for copycat parts is at an all-time high. And that is what we have to look forward to, at least for the next couple months. And if you're starting to jump into a new platform, there's nothing scarier than doing it wrong. So my recommendation is to modify with a plan. Like going to the gym or starting a business or kicking your Red Bull addiction, which you probably have, having a plan can help even the most professional builders. And you'll see it too, like all the time. They'll have a tear off of some cardboard with a list that has handwriting that grows in chaoticness the further down they go because they realize all the that they have to get done. And when you're building that plan, try to understand what the hell you're even trying to do. If it's to make something look rad, badass, dude, there's nothing wrong with just trying to make something look sick. If it's to fix your terrible death wobble at 60 or to finally convince that girl that wears fishnets that your Miata is worth a cruise in, it does not matter. It just has to be something that you want. Figure out what that thing is, then look at that list and ask yourself, what part of this actually helps get that? And over the past like 15 years, I've seen it all. There's so many people that want their car to do one thing and then they build it for an entirely different purpose. They take it to a track day and then they want to go win Best in Show at Gatlinburg. It's just these weird things that start to conflict with each other. And a lot of times when you try to build for both, you're gonna not build it for either. And that's a huge thing. Understanding what kind of tires you'd want versus what kind of suspension you want and being honest with yourself versus just letting social media influence you is a really big deal. As I say on a social media app trying to tell you not to take influence from social media. What the f is that? All right, anyway, understanding intention with goals is how you really start to see successful folks like Superfast Matt and Four Eyes and all those sort of YouTubers that don't seem to always post super consistently on their build projects, but at the end of the day, every video they do seems like it's been thought out for months, if not years, okay? There is more information out there than ever before to build a car, even a weird one, okay? So you may not want to have a plan, but you may just want to buy things that look cool. But because everything is so damn expensive right now, you might only get one chance at getting the right wheels and tires for your car. So why mess it up? I know it seems way more fun to just buy whatever it is on sale, but a lot of times, if you're like me and if you're like the thousands of people that only have one car that they're playing around with, you really don't want to mess it up. Knowing your goal and asking questions to folks like us is how you can build the right car the first time, especially especially with how expensive everything is getting and how hard everything is getting. And understanding that with that build, having something that might be for a track day might force you to prioritize tires, brakes, cooling, and safety. But show season could have you needing to figure out fitment, coilovers, and just proper cleanliness. Like, understanding that and being honest with yourself is huge. And remember, every dollar you spend should bring you closer to enjoying the car, not closer to burnout. Because burnout is real. Like, it creeps in when you build something that doesn't feel like yours. It feels like you're panic building to meet a deadline. These are things that do happen a lot. And because if there's a year things are gonna be absolutely insane, it's 2025, I don't want you to think of cars as a stress point. Your car doesn't need to break necks or set lap records unless you have an unlimited budget. It needs to make you smile. And it's not just about the end result that'll help you get there, it's the part where you're not frantic about the build. And it's already hard enough when the world is upside down. Instead, you should be able to jump into a garage and enjoy building your car and not feel like you're held to some insane expectation. What makes this more special than any other hobby that I've personally been in is the part of it that is the community. And that's another thing that I see a lot of people stepping away from. I'm not sure if it's the counterculture that's hitting the car scene yet, but it seems like folks have found more joy in talking smack about local meets and shows and events and get-togethers than being happy that they exist. My Friday night meets in Eau Claire like 10 years ago, I drove a 3K GT SL, a 300E, a Datsun 240, and every once in a while I rode my bicycle, and they were all borderline boxes. But the meet, I wasn't there to brag about my car. I was there to hang out with people who loved cars. And if you can find people that enjoy that just as much as you do, it's a really good ass feeling. Talking to folks and having fun, hopping in the forums and going to the meets, just don't get dragged down by the community, physically or digitally. Now, I get it, not all communities are great, so be patient. In my opinion, cars are just as much about you driving them and enjoying them, as well as being in a community that also enjoys them, even though some days you might have the worst car and other days you might have the best car. The 2025 Car Enthusiast recipe this year, I feel like, is less about trying to make it your career and more about you just enjoying the results of that hard work. Have fun with it. And when you occasionally have questions, hit us up over at martiniworks.com. And if you're looking for car parts, mod your car with your friends at martiniworks.com. There's this thing that's going on in the car scene where everybody's trying to figure out what you should do with this space. There's people out there that are trying to turn their content into a career, that are trying to turn their build into a race car. And there are all these huge, big dreams that so many people are sharing every day on social media. And at the end of the day, you're probably getting hit with a lot of that content. And that stuff is good stuff to watch if you enjoy it. But if you're one of those people that start to feel pressure when you watch those things in hopes that you should do it too because that's what other people are doing, it's one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen out there when people start to build their car. But a lot of times it takes a lot of self-confidence for you to build your car in your own way because unfortunately, or fortunately, there's only one of you and there's thousands, tens of thousands of videos telling you to do something a certain way. The riskiest play can sometimes be the most rewarding. And when you jump into 2025 and you jump into building your car, I can tell you right now, anybody will agree with me that when you build your car for yourself and you have fun with it, it's one of those cars that you'll never, ever, ever want to sell. But if you have any tips on how to build a car in 2025, drop your thoughts below. And of course, I'm Alex Martini. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to give this just out there as the world starts to get crazy, that at the end of the day, this whole thing is just about having fun. It was great talking to you, and we'll see you tomorrow.